Hi guys. I wanted to come and do a reading today. I was led. I woke up early. I don't know why. I'm usually a late sleeper, but I woke up and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get a plate of food for my daughter, come back, and go back to sleep. And when I did that, I ended up not going back to sleep. And I was like, well, why don't we just start the day then, right? So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Cron Oracle cards by Lee Carroll. And interestingly enough, the bottom of the deck of my word card deck is food. And then when it kind of like separated itself, it was on pride. So I don't know if, food for thought, if someone perhaps need to let their pride go on something, with that thought being more of service, perhaps. Doing things because it's the right thing to do and doing things because it's good for someone else. Knowing that, doing the right thing, even though it's not really the thing. If that makes any sense. This whole group fell out of cards. I'm not going to take all of them. Soul Perfection was the first one on there. We are here on this plane to work on our souls. We are here to learn the lessons that we need to learn. We are here to learn unconditional love for ourselves and for everybody else. Through that, when we find that unconditional love, we find our soul's perfection. Right? I know there's been a lot of times this last few weeks, months, decades, perhaps, for me anyway, that I've had to really put myself in check a lot. And I only say that because I am a little bit of a perfectionist. I do procrastinate because of it, unfortunately. I've been tested and tested and tested. I'm sure like everybody else has. Thoroughly tested. I think with every single person I've come in contact with, there's been either a conversation that I needed to check myself on, or I work in retail and people were like shoplifting and stealing and blatantly just doing it, and I had to work on my judgment there. And it wasn't like it was a judgment per se about, oh my gosh, they're stealing or anything like that. It was more of like a, gosh, that's a bummer. And initially, when I first started working there, it really broke my heart. I almost took it personally, like they were stealing from me. So it was a good lesson, because it's like, even if they were stealing from me, it's like, what kind of hold does that thing that they're trying to steal from you have over you, that it would bother you that they're even taking it? Everything on this earth is basically for everyone, right? We are meant to be of support to one another, share. And if sometimes that means that someone has to take something from you in order for them to gain something, perhaps other than that item for themselves, isn't that worth it? We're all here connected. We're all here for a soul contract. We've all decided what we were going to do here. I wanted to apologize for almost crying, but I can't apologize for the truth. Really. Because we are all here to help and support one another. Right? We all have a role. It's almost like a little, like a game of what's the word? not like a mind teaser, but it's like a, not like strategy because that would go negative. I don't know. But we're meant to figure it out. And we do that through soul perfection. Getting more in tune with who we are in connection with ourselves. Right? Shall we move on to another card? I have my little puppy in here with me, so if you hear her bark or scatter or whatever, that's my little girl. Oh. My sister used to accuse me of pushing her buttons on purpose as we were growing up. She said I used to always push her buttons. Interestingly enough, I never tried to push her buttons. I didn't even know what buttons to push. I wasn't really that smart or manipulative or cunning. Cunning is the word. I was just being who I was, and I just happened to trigger her. And everyone else, for that matter. And that's all right, because that's the role that I came to play. Had I known that this entire time, maybe I wouldn't have been so, caught off guard every time to be the blame of everybody else's learning or the blame of everybody else's potential healing. I say potential because it's always a choice, right? We don't just automatically just heal one day because, it's time. Just saying, there's work involved. You've got to talk through the feelings. You've got to respect the feelings. You've got to consciously let the feelings go. Another big old group of cards came out, and this one is 4 of them. Right place, right time. Show your light. As above, so below, and your light helps. Wasn't that nice? So here we are, in the right place, being the right time. Do you ever feel stuck? I mean, when I saw right place, right time, I kind of rolled my eyes like, oh, really? I've been stuck here for 2 years in this place. Stuck, literally stuck. I can't get out. I can, I guess. There are options. It's just it's unsafely safe here, if you know what I mean. All right. But the right time is the fact that I was up early, and here we are. So I'm going to go ahead and wake up every morning and show my light, just as you should. Show your light. If you're waking up in the morning, you're at the right place at the right time. Anytime that you're waking up, there's more work to do, folks. Anytime you're waking up in the morning, there is still purpose for you, regardless of what you think. Right? Still I rise, still I rise. So here I am, and I'm hoping you'll join me in showing your light every time that you do wake up, even if it wasn't something that you were like, oh, rise and shine. Doesn't make a difference. Look, rise and shine. Doesn't make a difference. You don't have to say it. You just woke up. As above, so below. You are meant to be here. You have work to do. You agreed to it before you got here, according to some ways of thinking. As above, so below. Whatever you do in your spiritual mind, that's what you get here on earth. You didn't know that, did you? Or maybe you did. Our existence here on earth is so many things. Our existence here on earth is not limited to earth. There are so many several parts and layers to everything. Like an onion. I'm sorry to be so cliche, but it's true. Your choices that you make, whether you make them with your head, your heart, or your gut, they all have consequences. More so in the spiritual world. So if you feel like you're being beat down by somebody, and you end up lashing out because they've been beating you down probably for a good, I don't know, minutes or centuries, and you react to that, you know you're going to look like the bad guy. Doesn't matter how long it's been going on. If you react to that, you will look like the bad guy. And that's true in any case. For anyone. No one ever sees what leads up to it. They only see what happened after. Right? You can keep filling that balloon with air. And at some point, that balloon's not going to be able to take the air anymore, and it's going to pop. And all anyone hears is that pop. And that pop startles, right? So there you are, with just the pieces of some balloon. You're brokenhearted yourself because your balloon popped. And now you're getting blamed for it. With no empathy or compassion. Nothing. So, if you respond to what's happening and you take a moment and pause, you will have less of a show at the end. Unless there's people who are bystanding and they saw everything from the very beginning to the end, then maybe they'll stand up and say, you know what, this person was antagonizing, and then all of a sudden this is what happened. But I still don't condone that behavior, because you know what? People who poke at you, notice how I go through that, because it happens to me all the time. And it's not because I'm weak, and it's not because I'm codependent, or because I am dysfunctional in any kind of way. I would like to think that it's more because I have God in my heart. I'm here for the greater good. Small things are not worth big reactions. And most things in life that we deal with on a daily basis, and I don't mean to diminish anything that you've ever gone through, are quite small in retrospect. Yeah, they could be traumatizing and damaging, yes. But even there's a lesson. Were there red flags that you missed? Were you being guided not to do whatever it was that you were doing, and then you did it anyway, and now that's what happens. Make your choices. Make your choices based on what's good in the spiritual life. Right? And your light helps. It may seem like all the work and effort and energy that you put into being a good person, or spiritually minded, or loving, forgiving, unconditionally so, may not seem like it's helping at all. It's like a drop in the bucket, right? It's like when we're having a flood. Here, let me just get a cup and I'll help get the water out by pouring it. I'll gather some in my cup and I'll pour it in the sink. Let me just get it out of there. Sometimes that's what it feels like. You're trying to save yourself on a drowning ship. Because sometimes you feel like you're the only one who has this belief. The only one. But you're not alone. And I know that I've been putting this reading in more